Welcome in to those watching on Facebook Live, from Texas to Atlanta to California, Detroit to High and Outside, episode 4, MLBBro.com's weekly rundown of the MLB. I'm with my boy Dante Miles. Dante, what's going on?
I'm chilling, bro. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing good. Our guy Ray in the back. We'll be joined by Rachel Hill, one of our content reporters out of Cleveland, in a little bit. But it was a big week, historic week. And I know I heard you talk about it. It might not be a real one, but we got to start it off. We had the no-hitter earlier this week, Friday night.
Yeah, you got it.
A little more than it was a little different. It wasn't just one guy, not two guys, not three, not four, but 5 pitchers combined.
Right.
Mets no-hitter. Tyler McGill, Drew Smith, Joely Rodriguez, Seth Lugo, and Edwin Diaz came down and shut everything down. I didn't even know a no-hitter was going on. I just got home and turned to the TV and seen Diaz with the 3K, seen his last inning.
He struck him out. 5 Met pitchers combined for the second no-hitter in New York Mets history.
This don't count. This definitely don't count.
Hey.
It's cool for them to celebrate it. You know, like you said, second no-hitter in franchise history. I give you that. Go ahead and celebrate. But this don't count.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep they're gonna keep them tickets forever. It's been a minute since they even got close to perfection out there. Was it Johan Santana? I think that was like in 2008-7, where he threw like 140 pitches for his first no-hitter. But we had to give them a quick shout out. They're actually playing live right now. See, Marte just got out. Schwarber's took in Mad Max deep already. I believe the Phillies are up, but the Mets also got into a little beef, had a little issue early on this week. They've been hit by the most pitches in baseball this year, and threw it Nolan Arenado earlier this week, and they got into a big fight earlier.
Yeah, I mean, bro, it's one of those MLB hold me back. Like, if Nolan wanted to get at him, he could have got at him. But, he got close. He pushed the guy, and then he just started doing the back pedal that we always see. So, it's still early. Guys had that adrenaline running. So, I don't take too much into it. Like, for me, I don't, unless they actually start fighting, like, that's when like it's really an issue. Like, obviously, like you said, getting hit the most in the league, that is annoying. Because I remember last year, the White Sox were one of the most hit teams in the league, and they had a few incidents like this where it's like you got to say something like, all right, bro, relax. Because, guys up there throwing 97, 98, Hearn inside. But yeah, look at this. It's like, all right, watch Nolan. Now he's moving. All right, I'm done. That's enough. Now he's backing up. Like it's okay, bro.
The whole squad running now.
Pete Alonso got tackled
Some dude didn't even touch the bullpen fence. He just straight jumped over it and was taking off.
That was their closer, Garagos. He could straight hop the fence. But Pete Alonso got tackled by one of the coaches from the Cardinals. It's like, what if Pete Alonso gets hurt? This is one of those situations. This is why I hate beat ball, because it leads to pointless stuff like this. Like, what if Pete Alonso gets tackled by the base coach, breaks his arm or something crazy? Now you pissed off. Like, this is
for real. And they not gonna forget it. They'll see them. I believe that was just their first series this week. But like I said, Mets leading the league in hit by pitching. They're also leading the NL with the best record. So highs and lows for them. But they might not want to mess with Nolan no more. But I want to move on to a guy that I got to see play this weekend. And watching him take BP was probably one of the most special things I've seen. But Ronald Acuna Jr. came back for the Braves a little quicker than I thought he would. He only played in like maybe 1 or 2 rehab games. Came back Friday night or Thursday, 2 stolen bases in the single. He actually played in Saturday night and Sunday's game, which I wasn't expecting him to play day-night back-to-back like that.
Yeah. No, I'll say this. The universal DH is going to change a lot of things, because now, especially with the addition of Travis Demers, shout out to Travis, you have outfielders that can, fill that spot if you need him to DH, because, Ozuna is best fit as a DH. Like, he's not the best outfielder out there. He's serviceable, but you don't want him in the outfield. So, now you putting Ronnie back in that lineup, you now have options. So, like you said, playing that back-to-back day night like that, I think you're going to see that more often simply because you have other people that, are able to replace him because Demerit, has shown you that he is a capable major league outfielder, and he's actually been hitting the ball well. The game I went to against the Cubs, Travis hit 2 balls, no lie, that if they were using the balls from last year, I guarantee they were home runs.
Mm.
Like they just died at the warning track, but like he hit them, barreled them up. We could check the stats on all of that, but I'm talking about 2 balls that he hit, he squared up, and they just legit died at the warning track. So even with that being said, he's been hitting the ball well, hitting the ball hard, and so having a guy like that takes some pressure off of Ronnie because now you can just ease Ronnie into that lineup, and it's actually scary for other teams, and they should be afraid because putting Ronnie at the top, dropping Albies to 6 like they've done, lengthening that lineup with the Austin Riley, with the Matt Olson, with Ozone, the Braves are gonna be a problem. It was going forward.
It was crazy seeing that lineup list on the jumbotron, and just a quick shout out. We'll get more into them a little later, but I think Travis Demir might be the fastest player in baseball, man, and he. We talked to him earlier this weekend. He wasn't even on the video. He's not even on MLB The Show video games. He just got his little scan this week, and he's been in the league. He played a few games with the Tigers last year. Got his feet wet a little bit, but he's playing with some champs right now, and I think he's going to be a huge part of that team. But moving on now, we got some hot teams. Every division leader in the American League is on fire. The New York Yankees defeated they played the Royals today, 6-4 win. Aaron Judge, 2 home runs, 9-1 in their last 10. Same for the Minnesota Twins, also 9-1 in their last 10. Byron Buxton also goes deep. The Angels 7-3, they're still hot. Defeated the White Sox today, 6-5. Which one of those teams is impressing you the most?
I would probably say the Angels, because I feel like the Yankees always have their expectations, but with the Angels, it's always been a what if. They've never been able to get the pitching to match, what Mike Trout gives them on a daily. And so having Mike Trout, having Shohei, who left the game in the 9th with some discomfort in his groin, but he said he wants to play tomorrow, so we'll see if that actually happens. But adding Noah Syndergaard, who didn't pitch his last start, but I think he'll be back. But that's a team that, when healthy, I think we may finally see the money being worth it, and them getting the results on the field. And so they're 15-8 right now. So I think out of those 3, I would definitely say the Angels.
Man, and the Angels are impressive. They've got a deep outfield, like you said. Brandon Marsh, Shohei at DH, getting a DH every day now, even when he does pitch.
Yeah,
Mike Trout is back to being the best player. I think he's the best player in baseball. But the one that impressed me out that group the most is the Minnesota Twins, who are being carried. I say carried. Yeah, I could say carried.
No,
being carried by Byron Buxton, who has record-breaking numbers. His WAR, he's going to have a 10 WAR percentage, which only 9 other players have had that in his career over the last 2 years. Better than Soto, better than Trout, better than Acuna. He has played way less games than those guys. But what have you seen from him? If he continues to stay hot, do you think he can take them not just to the playoffs, because they're like 0-18 in their last series? Do you think they can actually be a threat?
No, definitely. And I think, like you said, with Buxton carrying the Twins like this, if those other guys get hot, it's going to be problems for the rest of the AL Central. Like, you got Correa, you got Urshela, you got what's the guy? Then the lefty, I can't think of his name, but you drop
Kepler.
Yeah, you drop Kepler to 6 in the lineup. So like you have a lineup that can be potent if everybody else heats up. You already know they play in one of the more homer friendly ballparks in baseball. So, as it heats up, that ball is really going to fly in that ballpark. And so with that squad, I think, if Bro can stay healthy, that's really key. Just staying healthy. Like you saw what he did today. The homer he hit, he went down and got it and sent it like it was nothing. It's like we've seen them, like you said, when healthy. And I think I was watching MLB TV earlier, and they were saying the same thing. What we always say, like, when healthy, we've seen him put up the Mike Trout WAR. We've seen him, be that productive of a player. But it's just the health has always been the issue. So, like you said, man, you always got to send a prayer out for Byron, man. If he can stay healthy, then the sky's really the limit for Minnesota.
Yeah, and he got hit. He got hit in the wrist last night too. So prayers were almost denied for a little bit. He did come back in today and hit that home run. The Twins beat the Rays earlier today, 9-3 over a Rays team. They're looking. I know we didn't plan to talk about them, but just to touch on them real quick, it's a little shaky. Every time I see the Rays, a lot of errors. You know what I'm saying?
Not your typical Rays team, like because because they are so much of a team that's built on scouting, and they don't really go out and get free agents. They're usually sound on the fundamentals. You haven't seen a lot of that this year, but then like I'm gonna keep saying, I probably got 2 more weeks to say this. That short of spring training, it really makes a difference. Like you gotta think half of these games would have been spring training games. So like guys really getting into that rhythm. You know what I'm saying? The weather's been bad. Baseballs are different. So, it's just a lot going on right now.
Yes, sir. Well, again, thank you guys for listening in to High and Outside podcast. Malik Wright, Dante Miles, MLB Bros weekly rundown. We'll have the link for this podcast for you guys later this week. But I want to bring in one of our other content reporters by way of Cleveland, Ohio. Our first lady of sports, Miss Rachel Hill. How you doing?
Hi, guys. How you guys doing today?
We're doing good. Appreciate you for joining us.
Oh, no problem. Thank you so much for having me.
All right, and you came in at right around the perfect time. We had a history happen not once but twice this week. Giancarlo Stanton, we have to give him a quick shout out. 350 career home runs. Also, a quick shout out to Clayton Kershaw, who broke the Dodgers all-time strikeout record, past Don Sutton, Sandy Koufax, Don Drysdale to lead that in franchise history. So I'll ask you first. Since his time from Miami to New York, he at that point where it was, he's injured, he's hurt. But for the last year or so, Stan hasn't cooled down at all. Is he back to being a top 20, 25 player in baseball?
Yeah, I think so. And, he's so important to what the Yankees are trying to do. So I absolutely think that Giancarlo Stanton, he's going to be one of the reasons why the Yankees contend. Right now they've gotten out to a hot start in the AL East, and he's part of that. So they're absolutely going to need him to be who he's always been in order to, because you got the rest. That's a tight division right there, minus the Baltimore Orioles. So you got a lot of people nipping at your heels in the AL East. So I definitely think that, they're going to need the most out of him in order to win the pennant. I mean, it's a long way to go. There's a long way to go, but you can see them kind of separating themselves out a little bit.
Yeah, they're, like we said earlier, they're on fire. Judge is homered in 7 out of 8. But Dante, I'm gonna let you just give us a little bit on Clayton Kershaw, the history, and is he still an ace?
I think right now he's not the ace of the Los Angeles Dodgers anymore. But you just think about his career. When I was in the press box, it's funny because I was talking to a guy who I forgot his name, but he's been covering baseball. Probably he said 30, 35 years. And he really said Kershaw is interesting because Kershaw is one of those new era guys that he's going to be in a lot of cases the barometer for how we judge pitchers from this era. And I think that because, you're not getting the guys that are going 7 innings, 8 innings, we're not going to get another, 300 game winner and things like that. So you're going to look at a guy like Kershaw and his numbers and everything he's accomplished. And that's going to be, the litmus test for a lot of guys. But I think for me, Clayton, despite the injuries, despite the, the struggles he did have in the playoff and overcoming those, you're talking about a guy who is one of the best left-handed pitchers of all time. And I think because of, like, I agree with the older gentleman who said, like, because of the lack of innings and starts and wins on that, you can't put him on the same level as those greats like Hershiser and those guys like that. I think he's close. I think he's this generation's version of that. But I think you have to really tip your cap because a storied franchise like the Dodgers and him being the all-time strikeout leader, that says a lot. So you got to tip your cap to Kershaw because that's a great accomplishment. You read the names off, like the pitchers that have come through and pitched for the Dodgers. For him to be that all-time leader, it says a lot.
Yeah, and like you said, I think it's him, Max Scherzer. It was Justin Verlander, but he fell off that little cliff with his Tommy John surgery. But it's those two who speak for pitching in our generation. But I want to talk to Rachel about a baseball player whose skills I've been mighty fond of for the last few years. And it's been great to see his maturation. The bat is stepping up. is matching the Gold Glove he got a few years ago. He extended his hitting streak to 10 games today. Rachel, you did a little story on him, but just talk about the emergence of J.P. Crawford for the Mariners.
Yeah, one of the things that you said, it's been like a slow maturation point. So it's kind of like a match a little bit where it slowly burns and then all of a sudden, you get to that point and then it takes off and sizzle. But yeah, he's been one of the keys to what Seattle's trying to do. And he's just been great right now for Seattle. So like you said, one of the things is he's just came off of. He had a home run today, which was important, and he's had 3 home runs so far. And then right now his stats, the current numbers I have on his stats, 460, 449, 573. So he's getting on base. And one thing is he's been a patient hitter, and that's one of the things that has worked for him. And he's kind of changed his stance a little bit. I was watching something on him, and it showed that he's opened it up a little bit every year, and he's changed it differently to hit the ball. And he's making contact, and he's actually being walked a little bit more as well. I don't have the stat numbers on that, but I think he's been walked at least 10 times, I think, from the video that I did. So, one of the things is they're not sure if they're going to move him in the lineup as well. But he's been making contact for Seattle, and Seattle has been kind of having a surprise.
Yeah, and when JP scores, the Mariners see a lot of success. He does do a lot out of the around in the 5. I saw him moved up to 5 today, but he has that potential where he can bat leadoff. I remember it was a few times last season where he actually got to bat cleanup for him. As this is another JP bomb. You gotta love the bat flip that he came with too, and he's getting confidence. I talked to him last season always about what he thought about his bat. And it was more of I just need to get comfortable playing Major League Baseball. And I can't do it just. I'll be here soon, and it'll come around soon. But Rachel, you are in Cleveland, and I want to talk about the Guardians. Seen them multiple times this year. We'll talk about Triston McKenzie here in a sec, but I want to talk about Jose Ramirez. People call him the best third baseman in baseball. You get to watch him every day. Major league leader in RBI by 7. So nobody's catching him anytime soon unless they have a spectacular game or he catches a stomach bug. So what's it like watching him play the game every day?
Yeah, watching him play the game every day, it's just something to behold. And this is somebody who wanted to be here. The Indians signed him to a long-term contract, something that they don't necessarily do. But he's the heart and soul of this team. When you need a run, it's going to come from Jose. When you need some defense, it's going to come from Jose. So this was something huge for Cleveland, considering that we lost Francisco Lindor, and we thought that those two were going to be the 2 players who were going to lead us to the promised land. Unfortunately, we lost the World Series in 2016. But, those were part of the core players along with that pitching staff that got us there. And to lose Francisco, so then you have Jose Ramirez, who's like, hey, I'm the guy who's willing to do this. I'm willing to take this team to where we wanted to go. I'm motivated, and I want to do this. And, just watching him defensively as well, and just being that offensive juggernaut. When you need a hit, Jose is the one that's there. And he's pretty much been the leader of the Cleveland Guardians. I was about to say Indians. He's been the quiet leader of the Cleveland Guardians. So it's just a joy to watch him play baseball the right way, day in and day out.
Yeah, and I've been trying to watch him a lot. I don't get to see a lot of Cleveland games, but just the way I'm a Nolan Arenado, even Manny Machado, but over the last few years, even in like some of the All-Star games we see, Jose Ramirez is very talented. And I can't wait for him to get out to Arlington so I can check him out myself. But we want to move on to a pitcher for the Guardians, somebody max potential, but it kind of seems to me like they don't really know the role for Triston McKenzie. I see him sometimes he'll be an opener, sometimes he'll have his own opener, sometimes he'll get the chance to start. How has his 2022 been?
It's been a little bit up and down. He got his first win today. So the Cleveland Guardians, they came off of being swept by the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim to sweep in the Oakland Athletics. So that was huge. I think for him, one of the things that he harped on last year was that his mental was a struggle. These are kids, that make a lot of money. And sometimes that body, when we talk about maturation, that body and that mind doesn't match up yet. He talked about, and he was very vocal about how crowd affected him and things things like that, to have your own home crowd booing him. He talked about how much that affected him. And a lot of athletes don't open up to the mental aspect of the game. And that's one of the things that I can admire, from Triston McKenzie, especially as a man, to be very public with your feelings. So I think, that's one of the things that might be holding him back as he struggles to adjust and get used to Major League Baseball. Last year, he got sent down a couple times to the minors to work on getting some kinks out and stuff like that. He hasn't been sent down yet, but he's came out of the bullpen. He started, but today, he had a great outing, going 6 in the 3rd inning, and he didn't really have anybody on base or anything like that. And one of the critical things was he got some run support, which has been hard for the Cleveland Guardians. But it's been hard for the pitchers to get a lot of run support, and that's one of the things that hasn't happened when he's been on the mound, but he was able to get that today. So you had a pretty great performance from Triston today.
Yeah, I know a guy who appreciates run support, a guy, Taylor Hearn, who I seen today, finally get some, and those guys start firing it different. But in a wide, again, this is Rachel Hill, our content reporter based in Cleveland, Ohio for MLBBro.com. I got another question for you, and it's just about this AL Central. This Dante's White Sox, man, I thought they were going to run away with it. He thought they were going to run away with it. I thought maybe, what I'm saying, they weren't going to lap everybody, but it was going to be quite a distance. They've seen their struggles. They were in the big rain game a few days ago against the Angels, the Detroit Tigers. They just Miggy got his 3,000th hit. Your Guardians, just give a little outlook on the AL Central. Do you think that the Guardians have a chance at that division? And if not, who do you think has that upper hand?
Well, I think we all would have said that the Chicago White Sox probably were going to run away with the division based on what they did last year in MLB Bro. Right now, the Chicago White Sox have been saddled with a lot of injuries, especially to the pitching staff. So that's one of the things that's holding them back. And you guys, when I was backstage, I heard you guys talking about the Minnesota Twins. So they were just on a 7-game win streak, and that ended by Tampa Bay. So it could be the Minnesota Twins that could, have a go at this division. It's very early, but, one thing is the Minnesota Twins, they're known for hitting home runs, and Byron Buxton, who we talk about, who I recently did a video about as well, has been one of the best hitters in all of Major League Baseball. So you don't really got anything going on in Detroit. Miggy got his 3,000 hit there. Okay, great. But not much is going on there. Not much is going on in the Royals. So, this possibly could be a 3-team race between the Guardians, between the White Sox, and between the Minnesota Twins. I'm not sure what the Guardians really are going to do because they're a young team and they're up and down, and, consistency really isn't there. But it'll be interesting. They could make a little bit of noise, but I don't think that they're going to win the division. I think that they've been picked to finish in the middle of the pack. So it could be the Twins and it could be, the White Sox. But we're so early. It's so hard to tell. But right now, those are the two teams that are kind of asserting themselves a little bit.
Yeah, and there are people closing in on that or passing up that 100 at-bat mark. I think, like Dante said, we got to give people one more month at like 50, 60 more at-bats. But again, Rachel, I appreciate you taking your time to joining us. What's your social media information and how can the people find you?
Sure. If you want to get at me on Twitter and Instagram, you can reach me at 1ST Lady of Sports. And on Facebook, I'm just my regular name, as you see right there, Rachel L. Hill. But on social media, 1ST Lady of Sports.
All right. Well, appreciate you again for joining the High and Outside podcast. Rachel, we'll have you back on soon to give us a better update on Triston McKenzie when he starts getting it rolling.
All right. Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a great night.
I appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, Dante. Now let's go. Let's move on to our live at the ballpark segment. I'll go first. I got to see, who did I see play this week? The Houston Astros took on the Texas Rangers. It's been a long one. And then I got to see a team you get to see often, the Atlanta Braves. I'll let you go first. You got to see Marcus Stroman actually start against the Atlanta Braves. So how did that go?
Yeah, bro, it was actually good because, just getting more comfortable at the ballpark, going down to different areas. And I was actually able to get behind home plate for most of his innings. So just seeing him pitch, and he's always a guy. He's never been high velocity. He really pitches. So I appreciate watching guys like that. And so this was one of those starts where I know he had two week what we can consider bad starts this year, but last start was really more the old Marcus Stroman, and he also ran into one of those old issues where he didn't get any run support because he gave up 3 solo home runs. But I think other than that, he was pretty solid. There was 2 solo home runs, and there was a 1 inning where there was a 2-base error where Ozzie Albies ended up scoring. But other than that, he was really starting to get back into his rhythm. He spoke about that after the game, just saying, with the lack of spring training and everything like that, the guys just need a little time to get back into their rhythm. And so you saw him really start to do his thing. And we also saw, like I said, Travis Demeritte, make his debut with the Braves, coming back. He was originally he was drafted by the Texas Rangers, but he was traded to Atlanta. They converted him from second base to the outfield. And then now, he's back with Eddie Rosario being out 8 to 12 weeks with LASIK surgery. So, now they need another outfielder. And like I said, now with the universal DH, he has a great job. And so with that, he was he was able to, really contribute to that squad. And so, you saw his first home run. But like I said, Stroman, for everybody who was worried about Stroman, there's nothing to be worried about. Like, I think he's really getting back into that groove, and you saw him really pitching really well, in that series against the Cubs. Jason Hayward played, I want to say he played 1 game. He's in a platoon role now. He doesn't really start, but it was dope because actually before the first game, I wasn't able to get any interviews this week because with the Cubs there, it was just so much going on the field. But you saw John Lester was actually there. He was there, and Hayward came over and spoke to him, and that was really dope to see because those guys still have that bond from that World Series team in 2016.
Yes, sir. And man, them Braves, that batting practice, those guys are rock stars, man. I've never seen Globe Life rocking today. It was actually the biggest crowd attendance in Globe Life history. But we are going on live during the Mets-Phillies game. Dom Smith, he just got his 3rd hit of the day. I believe it said he has 2 singles and a double. He just had a 2-run single to give the Mets a 6-3 lead. They overtook the Phillies. Did you get to, by chance, see Acuna's debut? And if you did, talk about what was the energy like during that game?
Oh, yeah, no, the energy was crazy there from jump, like from batting practice to the start of the game. Of course, he got a standing ovation. I got that video. I'll throw that up on a reel or something. But just seeing him back and seeing what he does for that team and how it lengthens that lineup is going to be deadly because obviously, they wouldn't have brought him back if he wasn't ready to contribute right now. So any ideas that he's going to struggle out the gate or not be, I don't think that's going to happen with Ronnie. I think he's back because he's ready and he is a superstar. So putting him at the top of that lineup, like you said, he had a hit and 2 stolen bases yesterday. It's only a matter of time before he really breaks out and is the Ronnie Acuna of old. So it's baseball, so you're not really concerned about an ACL like that. And if you do need to give him off days in the outfield, you now have other players who can go out there and contribute. So.
Yeah, and I saw, I saw something special. Just to watch, like I said, just to see their batting practice live was just one of the craziest things I've ever seen. So it was Ronald Acuna, Ozzie Albies, and Ozuna standing next to each other and trying to flare home runs, just trying to flick and flare home runs into right field. And you see Ozuna. He tries to take one. You see him smash one to left, smash one to center, and you can't get the one out the right. And Acuna and Albies were just dogging him. And then Acuna comes in the box and he hits one of the farthest BP homers I've ever seen, that 3rd deck, deep left field. But they actually ran into a buzzsaw this week in my hometown team, the Texas Rangers. Sunday today, Taylor Hearn went against them, 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, 6 Ks. This is right here, the ovation Acuna got.
That's actually me standing behind home plate, no joke. But yeah,
you must have started the chant.
it was a great day. It was a great day for Braves fans.
Yeah, they showed him a lot of love here in Texas, but Hearn got the job against them, got the job done against them today in what I think was probably the best start of his career. And I actually write about that. But considering the opponent, like you said, you start off the game with Ronald Acuna, Matt Olson, and then you see Austin Riley, Albies, Rosart, like Duvall's going deep. It's a problem. It's scary. It's a problem to see. And I believe he struck out three of the first four batters he faced. He was on fire early.
And it's looped into right field. That'll drop in front of Suzuki.
With another flare. He had another little check swing hit.
That was his first hit.
Yeah. This is his first hit right here. He had another check swing the other night. So if he's gonna keep getting that, he's a fast guy too. Like you said, stealing bases already off the torn ACL. He's gonna be a problem.
He's back, bro. Like, no issue. He stole one base in his first game back. Stole two the other day. Like, the Braves lineup is going to be deadly. So I understand that the Mets currently lead, the NL East, but it's going to be a dogfight.
I'm looking forward to it. And like you said, those Mets are on fire. They're having their best start in 4 years. Max on the mound right now. He's about to throw his first pitch at the top of the sixth inning. But again, this is High and Outside podcast, MLBBros.com weekly MLB review, excuse me. Need to give me some water. And I want to show you guys live at the ballpark. We have our guy, Ron Washington, former Rangers manager, got us to 2 World Series, couldn't win the championship, but he got his ring in Atlanta. He came and he was showing it off. He got so much love in our city, man. And I know you want him as your third base coach. It's cool seeing him wave around those runners, but just talking to the man, he needs to be back in Texas. He wants to be back out here. Yo, what's up? It's going to be Brian. I'm live on tape at the ballpark for MLBBro.com. All right, this is Ron Washington, World Series championship winning third base coach for the Atlanta Braves. Appreciate you joining MLBBro.com.
My pleasure. In case you guys get the chance to see this ring, I just want to show it to you. There it is. Look at that.
All right. Now, so just the road to getting that World Series ring, you've been to the game, been to the big game a few times. What was it like when you finally got that last one?
It was awesome. It takes a lot of work. World Series is not just given to you. A champion, you earned it, and we earned it. Knowing that we didn't get over 500 till August, and then to play baseball the way we was capable of playing baseball down the stretch was a dream come true. I think every kid out there that's playing any kind of sport, they want to win the epitome of the sport, and that's baseball. It's the World Series, and I won it. Matter of fact, I'm still trying to feel something. I'm still numb.
Now you're back here in Arlington. I'm at Arlington native. We miss you out here. Just tell me one thing. It was a great time, great few years. What's the thing that you took from your time here the most?
The relationships. It was phenomenal. The relationships. That's why I think I, as the manager, the leader of the team, was successful. But the players deserve all the credit because of the relationships. You never forget those.
So now, my final question. You're known as one of the better infield coaches in the game. You're out here early, almost 3 hours before the game. When did you start doing those infield drills? I know you were an infielder during the playing time, but when did you start accommodating those?
In 1991, when I retired in 90, I started doing these in 1991, and up to today, it's just progressed. You go through progressions, and you find out that you can add or you can subtract, and that's how my drill started. And
got a little buffer on that. I think that might have just been because of Bryce Harper's home run ball. He just hit off. Max Scherzer just bombed it 6-4 now, but just closing it out. Wash. I can't lie. That was probably one of the first times I've ever been nervous meeting somebody. Growing up out here, Wash was the man, and he was the nicest guy. Like I said, nicest guy you meet. He's the same person you'd see on TV. And we talked about a few things. One, the fungo, he started doing that in 1991 when he became an infield coach. And all his infielders come in, get the individual work before the game. He stops whatever he's doing whenever they're ready to come out, and pokes out and we'll field it. We'll do the drill.
Yeah.
He taught me about how they're fielded with their feet. And the most important takeaway I said is just hearing him talk. They didn't complain about the heat in Texas, which is why he thinks they were successful. He wanted the best product on the field, and it was hot. It was going to be hot. So go ahead and play your game. So I just want to ask you, I know it's apparently obvious, but what have you noticed from your time seeing him as third base coach for the Braves that he's brought to the team? He was with Oakland. I believe that may have been 3-4 years ago when he was on the A's. Have you seen any differences since he's been back?
But no, bro, like you said with Ron, like when I come to the ballpark, like a lot of times when I'm able to get there, 4 hours early, I'll be setting up in the press box. You look down and he's working with the infielder, and you come down to the field, he's got another guy. Ozzy's out there, Austin Riley's out there, Olsen's out there. Like those drills have become legendary because baseball is one of those sports where muscle memory is really important. It's really key. You have to actually. So, and I love what he does because he'll have them, like he said, you feel with your feet. So sometimes he'll have them on their feet. He'll have them on their knees, scooping balls. And this is not even if you're at first base. This is every infielder that come out, do it. Batting practice. He's hitting fungos off on the side. And like you say, and you've seen the Braves have one of the better infields in baseball because of it. And I think Ron is a key to that. And it's not just about him sitting there calling for putting the signals up and sending runners. It's deeper than that. It's more than that. And like I said, you see this on the daily. Like you come to the ballpark, the game's at 7:20, at 4:00. Ron is out on the field with one of the infielders, and he's doing this.
Yeah, and he also got in a little bit of work with Marcus Semien, who he was very fond of. You can actually catch my whole interview with Ron Washington on MLBBro.com. You can check our page. You can also check our YouTube, or you can check the Facebook page right under this where you're watching this show right now. But like I said, he had fond words of Semien. Saw them discussing, and Semien actually fielded ground balls with the padded glove that Ron Washington uses when he was taking some infield drills on Saturday. So it was nice to see. But as we come to an end to our fourth episode of the of High and Outside on MLBBro.com, live on Facebook. We'll have the link later for you. What are you looking forward to this coming week?
The Braves, they head up to New York for 3 with the Mets, but then when they come home, Lorenzo King and the Brewers are in town. So looking forward to that, getting to the ballpark. Hopefully get a chance to get an interview with him and talk to him and see how he's really enjoying his farewell tour, because he's going to retire at the end of this season.
Oh man, I think that's the second time you done made me jealous, because you're gonna get to also see my favorite player, Andrew McCutchen. Growing up,
Clutch dog,
all us outfielders with the long hair, you know what I'm saying, out there, 22 in Pittsburgh. I knew Matt Kemp had some swag, you know what I'm saying. He ran LA. Not trying to diss Kemp. Jeter did what he did in New York, but that man Andrew McCutchen was backpacking that whole franchise and got them in the relevancy. It's sad that they couldn't kick the door down. And I'm also glad that I got my Pittsburgh Pirates mention in that we're gonna do week. They haven't been getting it done too much on the field, but a young coming up team. The thing I'm looking forward to, the Rangers aren't in town. I believe they head to they'll be in New York later this weekend. I forget where they're at tomorrow, but the Yankees face the Blue Jays to begin the week. Both teams on fire, both teams hot. George Springer, Aaron Judge, Jose Barrios going to be on the mound. I'm pretty sure we'll see Garrett Cole on the mound too. Who's going to win that heavyweight first round 1 of a heavyweight fight? That's going to be about 16, 19 rounds.
Yeah, bro. And you see the way that division ends up every year. So these games actually matter. So it's not one of those things where you can say it ain't gonna matter, because this division always comes down to one game, half game. So no, they're gonna want to win this game. So I think you're gonna get a playoff atmosphere for that 3-game set.
Yes, sir. Well, again, I appreciate you guys for joining us on the High and Outside podcast. Check us out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube. We'll have this link out for you guys soon. But appreciate you guys for listening, and we'll see you guys for episode 5 next week.
MLBBro.com, covering black and brown major league.